Don't know how I like that. Tastes exactly how you think it would as well.
What is that, Adam? We just started the podcast.
7-Up pink lemonade. It is on. And it tastes exactly how you think it would. It's not bad in fairness, but I wouldn't say it's great. How are you?
I'm fine. The weather has picked up.
Yeah, it's fucking hot as balls today, man.
Yeah, it was very warm.
Monday evening, I think it's the 28th of April.
The time is flying.
Shit, man. Fuck, it's relentless, isn't it?
What jersey do you have on today?
Independiente of Argentina. It was a gift from Marina in work. Remember I said the other week?
Oh.
And he called me a hipster, and I was like, what do you mean I'm a hipster?
I must have been in a bad mood.
Yeah. It's nice, isn't it?
It's very thoughtful gift anyway.
Yeah, it is. She's the goat. Argentina in general is full of the goats. So, gracias, amiga. Te amo siempre, which means I love you forever. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
You can use that for Lara. You're also wearing a Spain jersey, so
in solidarity with the power cuts, people that have experienced power cuts today, I've decided to wear a Spain jersey.
Yeah, I heard about it at work earlier. Like, what is it, a cyber attack or something? Is it?
It appears to be that way. I mean, maybe someone put the microwave up too high or something and cut off the whole power.
What does that even mean?
Well,
the whole power of the whole country. Like.
He busted
the
fuse.
whole country go.
The whole country, the whole country, Lisbon, Porto.
Fucking hell, man.
The metro down. People stuck on the metro.
That'd be scary, wouldn't it?
It'd be just horrible.
Underground, like?
I can't think of anything worse.
Yeah, it'd be fucking warm as well.
Yeah.
Fuck.
And if you have any element of claustrophobia, you'd hate it.
Yeah.
Great
start to the pod, as always. Very positive. Anything happened the weekend, Kieran?
Not that I can think of. Do you have anything blatant you want to bring up?
No, not really.
Are you sure?
And that's all for this week's podcast. I suppose the obvious, Kieran. We all knew it was going to come, didn't we? Liverpool win the league. It was only a matter of time.
Well, we all knew when Mateta chipped Raya that it was all but confirmed.
Yeah. Like Arsenal could have fucking... Arsenal nearly handed us the title on the plate when you think about it, didn't we?
The worst title race in recent years.
Would you call it a race? I wouldn't call it a title race. No, I wouldn't call it a title race.
Yeah, it was a title canter.
Yeah, Liverpool. What a team, by the way. I know it's probably going to hurt you to say, but...
Why would it hurt me?
I don't know, you're a very sensitive guy. Don't cry.
I mean, it is a good team, but...
Very good team.
I think a lot of the teams folded this year and left Liverpool the good team winning. That's the way I see it.
Nah, I think that's harsh. I think it's a harsh and lazy assessment.
How's it lazy?
To be honest. This Liverpool team did something that none of Guardiola's teams done.
What was it?
Go 26 games undefeated. Guardiola's side didn't do that once.
26 games undefeated?
Yeah.
Did you not lose to West Ham? Or Everton?
Us, Liverpool.
West Ham, wasn't it?
Us?
Yeah.
No. We beat West Ham.
I'm fairly sure
we lost to Fulham, didn't we?
You lost to Everton as well.
No, we drew with them, but they celebrated like a win.
Oh yeah.
That's everything for you.
No, I was fairly sure Liverpool lost to West Ham.
We didn't.
You lost to Forest twice.
We lost to Forest and we lost to Fulham. That's who we've lost in the season.
So you didn't go 26 games unbeaten?
We quite literally did. From that game to the Fulham game, you were unbeaten.
The Forest game?
Yes, to the Fulham game.
And no one's ever done that before?
Nope.
But Arsenal have done that before, haven't they?
Yeah, but that was full of draws. That was littered with draws.
So the logic is the Arsenal one wasn't good, but the Liverpool one was good because the Arsenal one was littered with draws.
I think this Liverpool team could put it up to the Arsenal team. You know?
I think it's a good team. I think it's very much helped by the fact that many of the teams folded around Liverpool.
I think that's very lazy.
Never putting pressure on Liverpool in this to win the title. Nobody was really putting any pressure on them.
It's not that they weren't putting pressure.
They weren't even tested.
Liverpool just went that far ahead. Liverpool were that much better than every other team. That's the assessment.
If you look at it, the previous seasons,
I would agree with you, right? If Liverpool didn't go on that 26 game run.
But if you let me finish my point, if you look at it, the previous seasons, teams were reaching 90 points, 90 plus points.
Usually Liverpool.
This doesn't compare to those seasons.
We'll probably finish on 90 odd points. But that's kind of an outlier as well, because before that it was Leicester won the league on 78 points or something. So that
and
wasn't
you could
too far
argue
along.
then that's when teams weren't that great around Leicester as well.
Nah, again, I just think that's a very lazy assessment. I'll be honest with you, I think it's a lazy assessment.
But explain why it's lazy and explain why it's not factual then.
But it's the fact of the matter is
City fell down. They're in a period of transition now under Guardiola.
fell down.
Yeah, Arsenal aren't good enough to win the league. We known this for the last 5 years. Chelsea in another period of transition
Chelsea
under
are
a new
brutal.
manager.
Chelsea haven't been at in years. You don't add Chelsea into this mix. There was a point in the season when you said Chelsea were in the title race.
I never said that once.
You did,
by the way. But Chelsea were in transition. Who else was there in recent years?
Are Liverpool not still in transition with a brand new manager?
Man United are terrible.
A brand new manager. Liverpool
Spurs are
aren't in transition.
terrible.
That's an interesting one. Are Liverpool not in transition?
Liverpool probably are in transition, but they have the
Yeah.
best team of anyone else. And the teams kind of fell around Liverpool. That's what I look at.
I just think it's a. I think at the start of the season before a ball was kicked, the majority of the pundits had Liverpool finishing outside the Champions League positions. The majority of the pundits had Slot being sacked. Like a lot of people had Slot not making through the season, and we've gone and achieved this with how many
Majority
games left?
didn't.
6 games left. But the majority did, Kieran. There's videos online of
I'd say
of
a
pundits
majority
for a
had
season.
third and fourth, Liverpool.
Third and fourth, so not involved in the title race.
Yeah, well, it's been. I'm not denying it was a good season, but I think you'd be wrong to admit that it wasn't a case of other teams not being anywhere near the level.
I disagree.
Well, look at Arsenal; they're on 67
Well,
points.
Liverpool are on another level. I think that's probably the point.
They're not on another level.
They
though.
clearly are.
They are. No,
They clearly
if,
are.
If you compare them to teams that
2
won the title,
losses
they're
all
on the
season
same
league.
level,
That teams have won a
if not worse.
So
than the best teams
they're
that won
on
the
the
league.
same level as teams that have won a league.
If not worse, than the
If
team,
not worse.
than the best teams that have won the league.
I disagree.
They're on a worse level and a worse points total than that.
I disagree.
And if you look at the nearest people to them, Arsenal are on 67 points. You're telling me that people didn't even challenge Liverpool this season?
You had Arsenal win the league last season. You do realise that.
I did. But,
Before a ball was kicked, you had Arsenal to win this league.
well,
And Liverpool have just gone and pissed away
adding
the
a
league.
bit of glamour to the prediction isn't going to justify.
You've gone about this in a really monotonous way. It's actually quite lazy. The opinion that I'm being genuine. It's
But
lazy.
you're denying facts as well.
I'm not denying facts.
Well, the
I'm not
facts
denying
are
facts.
the facts are there, right?
The fact of the matter is Liverpool went 26
There's 4
games
teams
unbeaten
on 60.
and pissed away a league. That's the fact of the matter
There's
here.
4 or 5 teams on 60 plus points. Liverpool are far and away above everyone else. So, and you're denying the fact that teams have not fallen around Liverpool, which they have.
No,
if you look
I
at
would
last
say so.
season, City were up there, Arsenal were up there on 80 plus points. So you're just denying reality.
I'm not denying reality. The reality is
you're
Liverpool,
denying reality.
Liverpool have won the league here, and you're saying
I'm
they're
not
not
denying
a
that.
very good team.
I
That-
never
that's
said
your
they were
point.
not a very good team.
But the point, yes,
When
you
did I
just
say
said they were
that?
you just said they're one of the worst champions.
I
in
never
their
said
team
they were
stuff.
the worst.
Yes, you did. You said they weren't on the same
I
level.
said they
as
don't
teams,
compare
if
to
not
the
worse.
best.
That's what you said.
No, I said they
You
don't
said-
compare
you
to
said,
the
if
best.
not
You can't
worse.
catch
That's
me
what
on
you said.
this.
You said if not worse. Yes, you did.
No.
You did. You said
I
they're
said
not
they're-
on a level of the previous champions, if not worse. That's exactly what you said.
Stop knocking Nuker at me.
That's exactly
And
what you said.
Let's break down the points instead
That's
of
exactly
interrupting
what you
each
said.
other.
That's
Right?
what you said.
What did I say?
You said they're not on the same level as previous champions, if not worse. That's exactly what you said.
They're worse by points total than previous great champions. That was my point. I never said they weren't a good team. When did I ever say that?
What great champions are you talking about? Out of
I'm
interest?
chatting about the City teams that got to 90 plus points.
Liverpool
Chatting
will
about
finish on 90 plus points.
even the Liverpool team that finished 90 plus points.
Liverpool will probably finish on 90 plus points now.
I'm talking about the teams that got to 100 points. Chelsea.
Did Chelsea get to 100
the
points?
best, yeah, under Mourinho, yes. The best teams that
I
have
want that
ever won the
fact
Premier
checked.
League. Chelsea got to 100
I
points.
do not believe that.
Okay. Well, you don't believe a lot of things, but
I'm fact checking that because I don't think it's true. If you're going to argue with me about this, I want the opinion to
I'm
be
not.
coherent.
I actually wasn't trying to start this with an argument.
I'm not starting with an argument either. I just
But
think
I was trying to say that teams have fallen around Liverpool, which if you're denying the reality, then fair enough. But 100% teams are falling around Liverpool.
I disagree. I think Liverpool are just that much better than everyone else, to be honest. The only team to reach 100 points was Chelsea, or Manchester City, excuse me, for what it's worth.
What did the Chelsea team get to? 98 City.
I think 91 was what Chelsea got to.
Liverpool got to 97 points.
95 points Chelsea got to.
Yeah. Whatever, semantics. Right? But you can't deny that teams haven't fallen around Liverpool. That's my point.
I would deny that. I think Liverpool are that much better. I think circumstances is at play here as well, where Man City's best player gets injured at the start of the season. Rodri's out for the season. Arsenal have a million and one injuries.
Which is supporting my point.
You can't say that they've fallen apart. They've had circumstances that have probably stopped them from being as good as what they could be. But your point of Liverpool not being that good is delusional. And I think it's lazy. That's
I
the
never
point I'm
said
making.
they weren't that good. I said they were very good this season. But you look at the table. Newcastle have lost 10 games in their third.
That's nothing to do with Liverpool, though.
And they're only 5
Liverpool
points
have
off
lost
Arsenal.
2 games all season.
But it's still my point that teams have fallen around Liverpool. They've let them win it so easily.
If the general mean, though, is teams losing games and winning games, and Liverpool are by far and away ahead of that, does that not mean that they've achieved a lot this season in terms of they've overachieved?
I think we're arguing 2 separate points here. I'm not denying Liverpool's achievements. I'm denying the fact that teams... that you're saying that teams haven't fallen around Liverpool, which would be denying reality.
I would disagree. I think Liverpool have been that much better.
So, all right, let's go into the other teams.
Arsenal,
have they been any good this
Arsenal
season?
are in a Champions League semi-final, Kieran. You can't tell me this team.
So
that's
they're
not a good
distracted
team.
with that.
No, you can't tell me they're not a good team.
But in terms of the title race, they're distracted with that.
Potentially, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That doesn't mean they've fallen apart. Newcastle beat Liverpool to win the League Cup.
They lost 10 games.
They beat Liverpool to win the League Cup.
Manchester City, were they any good this season?
Off season, 100%. Rodri out injured. You can't
Wait,
say.
so you're agreeing with me?
No, you can't say Arsenal, Newcastle, and Man City aren't good teams.
I'm saying they aren't good enough to compete in this instance
because Liverpool are that much better.
Well,
that's the point
not
I'm
based
making.
on the facts.
Based on the facts, it is two games they've lost all season.
Adam,
they're not that good.
We just read a Liverpool team that got 95 points and didn't win the league.
Yeah,
that was the team that didn't win the league.
Yeah,
that was a great Liverpool team. The Man City team that beat them was
a great Liverpool team. Is what you're saying?
I'm saying that the teams competing with Liverpool, if we go back to the initial point, Liverpool cantered away with the league, and the teams around them were no good, which was true. They never put pressure on them.
Arsenal in the League Cup semi-final and Newcastle haven't won the cup aren't good teams.
They aren't great
teams.
Do
me a favour, will you? That's a no. I'm not having it.
A League Cup.
Chelsea.
That's the metric.
Chelsea in a European Cup semi-final as well. And you were saying Chelsea are a bad team.
You can't say that with a straight face, Adam.
Say what?
The Chelsea in the European.
Point being, these teams, you're saying these teams are bad, but they if Chelsea win a European Cup final and Man City win the FA Cup and Arsenal win Champions League, you cannot turn to me and say the teams around Liverpool weren't good enough if they've literally come and won titles this season. Liverpool have pissed away this league at a canter because they were that much better than everyone else.
That's better, but maybe just at the same level as last season. That's my point.
No, I disagree. I would disagree with that.
Well, that would be my standpoint on it. I think a lot of teams just fell off this season and let Liverpool win the league.
You see,
that's the way I look at it.
But you're saying they let Liverpool win the league?
No, I'm saying
that's crazy.
No one ever challenged.
That's a crazy statement.
We both admitted that there was never a title race. We both admitted that at the start.
Because Liverpool were that much better. It's not because the teams around them are poor.
Well, Adam, you can't even argue that based on statistics that they were that much better.
Yes, you can. Kieran, they lost 2 games all season. They went 26 games unbeaten.
But other teams
what
have
done
that before.
Like? No, they haven't done it before. They literally done something that Pep's Man City never done. 26 games undefeated was never done in the Premier League until this season. You can't tell me that's not a good Liverpool side. You cannot tell me it's not a good Liverpool side.
I never said it wasn't a good Liverpool side.
You said they weren't as good as the previous champions. That was the point you made.
I said if you compare them to even previous runners-up, they don't even compare points-wise.
Previous runners-up?
Liverpool were previous runners-up and finished 95 points.
Previous runners-up would have been Arsenal the last few years, no? Is that what you mean?
it would have been Arsenal finished on 89 points last year and didn't win the league.
Liverpool could finish this season, Kieran, on 94 points.
Yeah, but they're first. No one else is competing with them.
Do you understand the point you're making? No one's competing with them because they're that far ahead of everyone.
But they're not that far ahead of Arsenal's 89 points last year, are they? That's the point I'm making. It's
kind of irrelevant though, isn't it?
It's not that. It's relevant to this argument.
It's kind of irrelevant though.
Because I'm saying that second, third and fourth are nowhere near the levels, which is true.
No,
you're denying reality of it.
I disagree. If Man City, I would say
second, third, fourth.
To get to those points totals, you have to win a lot of games, right? Surely, if Liverpool have won more games in this sense than Arsenal, then the league this season, from second down to wherever, is more competitive. If you look at that there, from second to fucking seventh, there's 10 points. Okay?
They're all pretty bad teams.
They're pretty bad teams. Are you on heroin, man? How? How are these bad? Aston Villa fucking beat PSG in Champions League the other week. Liverpool didn't even do that.
They're nowhere near 82 points though, are they?
Yeah, because Liverpool are that much better, Kieran. Like, the denial of Liverpool being a good side here is crazy.
I'm saying they're a good side. I never denied they were a good side.
I feel like...
I'm saying everyone else isn't at the level.
No, I disagree. I think the Premier League is as strong as it's been in the recent years, to be honest. Last year you would have had City, ourselves and Arsenal. I think we finished on like 82 last year. That was the kind of base mark. You know, that was kind of the benchmark last year. You know, but in saying that, to be at that point, there's easier teams to beat last season than there is this season. I would argue. Apart from the bottom three who are all fucking shit. I think everyone beat them easily. So, I think the point you're making is, as I said, I think it's lazy. I think it's quite biased as well. I think you're not willing to give Liverpool credit here.
Well, I don't think we ever got into giving Liverpool credit because we were arguing over semantics like this. I think Liverpool were very good this season. I'm not denying it, but I don't think they were anywhere better than their level last season to win the league. That would just be my point.
They were clearly better this season last season to win a league. That's clear as day. Salah this season compared to last season on a different planet. McAllister, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch. Like, there's players this year that have overperformed in comparison to previous years. Would be my estimation.
I think it's a good title winning side. I don't discredit that. You know,
what would make this Liverpool team great?
Great team, you're talking 95, 96 points, like the teams that won that
94 points isn't a great team if they're to finish on 94.
They're going to finish on... Yeah, they could finish on 94. They have a few tough games coming, but they could finish on 94.
This was a Liverpool side, by the way. At one point this season, there was talk of them winning a quadruple. Does that not define a good side? But that was the barometer of Liverpool. That was the barometer of which Liverpool were being based on at some point.
The Liverpool fans rumour quadruples every season when they're in contention.
It's not Liverpool. It's the English media. Every year it's the English media.
Who are Liverpool fans?
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, you're spot on. What are you on about?
Well,
it's just the same. No, I'm not getting into it. It's no, you're wrong. You're wrong. It's the English media who push it forward.
All right, so
not Liverpool fans. I think you're
Jamie Carragher, Sky Sports. Graham Souness, Sky Sports.
Doesn't work with Sky Sports anymore.
Daniel Sturridge, Sky Sports.
Chelsea legend.
Liverpool fan. Danny Murphy.
So are all the journalists in the paper who wrote Slot off not to finish in the top four, they're all Liverpool fans? Is that what you're saying?
Not all of them, obviously,
but
the majority are.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But you're not making a coherent point here at all, are you?
Well, I think I made my point. I think this Liverpool team were very good this season. Don't get me wrong. But all my argument was that the other teams were not as good, which I think is a fair thing to argue, considering that Arsenal are on 67 points, which is nowhere near any of the
semi-final.
Listen, maybe they're a good side, maybe they aren't.
You don't think they are?
I don't think they're that great. I don't think. I think that a lot of the football now is methodical and boring, and they fall into that bracket. And that's probably why they're in the Champions League semi-final, because that's what wins things now. Methodical, boring football. Liverpool are something that were a bit outside the box, and Salah is a bit of flair about him. Diaz has a bit of flair about him. They win the title. No one else has any of this flair anymore because everyone's playing like fucking robots, and that's why teams are so shit nowadays. That's my opinion on the matter. Look at look at Arsenal, right? Saka is their only flair player, and he's the sole player they depend on for output because he's a very good player that has an element of individuality about him. Okay, third place, Isak, great goal scorer. I can't think of many other players that Newcastle have outside that. Anthony Gordon's alright. Chelsea.
Kamara's, Tonali.
Sorry, City.
Joe Linton.
Haaland, great goal scorer.
Has been injured for a large chunk of the season.
Every team is dependent on one outlet for output. Barring Liverpool, who have 3 good attackers, Gakpo, Diaz, Salah. The rest of the teams are nowhere near the levels because there's no one. There's no players that excite anyone anymore. And everyone plays the same build-up, slow build-up football. Apart from the few teams, i.e. Liverpool, who play some energetic stuff. And, light bulb, it wins games. It wins games. They're the only team that are bearable to watch. Them, I would say, Bournemouth are good to watch. I'd say Brighton are decent to watch. I'd say Brentford are good to watch. No one else is good to watch in the league. That'd be my opinion. It's no surprise here that Liverpool won the league. They're a good team. They're an exciting team to watch. Even that PSG Liverpool game, one of the best games we've seen this year, involving 2 great teams that are good to watch. Of course, this Liverpool team are a great team. But my argument would be the other teams have nothing going for them. That's right.
I wouldn't say they've nothing going for them. A team that has nothing going for them doesn't play European Cup semi-final. A team that has nothing going for them doesn't win a League Cup. Like these are good sides. Like you're underrating these so much because of how football's played these days. I think Man City had a really poor season. I'll give you that. Man City were not at their usual standard, but there's reasons for that. Circumstances, reason for it. So I don't think you can just blanket statement say Liverpool are okay, everyone else is shy. I just think that's lazy. That's all. That was my point. If you,
I'm not trying to blanket statement anything. That's the statement I'm going with because I think it's true to a sense.
I think Liverpool have just been that much better than everyone else. That's why a team wins the league, generally speaking.
But I would agree with that statement.
We've won the league with 4 games to go, Kieran.
Again,
like that's you don't do that because everyone else is shit. You do that because you're good.
But again, I'm not disagreeing with you here. I think Liverpool are a good team, a great side. In fact, they have one of the greatest players ever playing in the Premier League.
Yeah,
I think this is where we're coughing up. We're both kind of spitting out or how would you say, getting off on the wrong foot, so to speak, on with this argument because I think in a lot of senses we agree on this. But
I just don't think they're as bad as what you're making them out to be.
I don't think throughout this whole debate I've never said Liverpool.
No, I'm talking about the teams around Liverpool. They're not as bad as you're making them out to be. Because simply, if they were,
maybe bad's not the word. Maybe stale is the right word to put. Stale to watch. There's I
just think it's harsh to paint this season as Liverpool won it because everyone else was shit. Like I think that's a bad way to.
But it's also a blunt way to put it because I think if you're gonna put it bluntly, I think that's a true statement. You know, I generally think it's a true statement. Like, I'll give you an example, right? I support Chelsea, right? I don't anymore after this season because some of the football they're playing it's fucking actually.
I feel like I'm in the office over there.
But like, it's true.
Yeah.
Like it's torturous.
I think Chelsea play this kind of systematic football that you're on about. But they just play it really badly.
But like, I think it was Gary Neville who said there's a lot of teams in the league badly imitating Pep Guardiola's system. And when I think he said a lot, and that
said a lot without saying a lot, didn't he?
He said a lot, but I think there is a lot more than a lot of teams imitating Pep Guardiola's way of playing. I think a good imitation of how Pep Guardiola played in his pomp was Luis Enrique's PSG that night against, or the 2 legs against Liverpool. That's a great imitation. I think the way Company plays is a bad imitation, but he gets away with it because he's in the. I don't think there's that much quality in that league. I think what Nuri Sahin tried to do with Dortmund was a bad imitation.
Just a quick one for you, right? Just because you brought up the Bundesliga. Bayer Leverkusen went on a run last year and pissed away the Bundesliga. And they were touted as one of the best teams to ever play, full stop. Do you think they were only as good because everyone else around them was shit?
I think it was different for them because I think they were unbeaten that season.
Well, they lost. I think they lost 3 games of football.
Yeah,
or one was.
Well, I think
just
in the league final, they didn't win again. They didn't lose.
It was just the Europa League final they lost.
Yeah. So I think it's different for them, and I think it actually could be different for PSG as well. I think that it's fairly impressive what PSG are doing, in my opinion, in Ligue 1. Going on,
but everyone in the Premier League shit.
Well, I don't think I'm discrediting anything about Liverpool's title winning performance. I think that's where we're getting off on the wrong foot. I'm discrediting the teams around them for not putting up a fight, which is true. Like Adam, to put it bluntly, there wasn't a title race this year. We both admitted that. Why is that? There's no other explanation then all other teams weren't as good. And why?
So there was no point in the season where there was a title race. Is that what you're saying?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
Would you agree with that statement?
Well, we have podcasts of which we're talking about Arsenal maybe in the league. For what it's worth.
At the start of the year.
Throughout the year. Like that was a thing that happened, you know. Like Liverpool just didn't spawn and fucking, piss the league away. Like there was definitely a race at some point.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't doubt it. Like I think Liverpool were about the best thing about this year in the Premier League. They listen, I think they're a great team. Okay? I think the fact the matter is they could have won everything this year, barring a really good PSG side.
And a really good Plymouth side.
Really good Plymouth side, yeah. Premier League's great. Oh, it's so good. Plymouth beat Liverpool. Who else lost? Arsenal.
Lost United, so yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Championship fodder.
But yeah, I think Liverpool were a great side. How would you compare this title win to the Shels win in the league, for example?
There's no comparison. No comparison.
You wouldn't even put it close.
The different circumstance, like the Shels won the league. The way we won it was kind of like Aguero scoring for City. It was late on. It was more dramatic, more tense. Not that this doesn't fucking mean anything. It does. It means a great deal, but I think you felt more involved when Shels won it. I was looking at a video there before we started, and thinking back, you would get emotional at the thought of it. It's one of those things when you're involved in it. When you're there's always this kind of fucking thing where it's like, get out and support your own league and all this jazz. If you're a Liverpool fan and you really enjoyed yesterday, by all means, that's completely fine. But when you are involved in it, when there is kind of a, you feel it week to week, you're there. It is much different. And even you look at Friday gone, the past 3 games for Shels have all ended in 2-2 draws. And the away end on Friday up in Tala when we went 2-1 up, even that, the feeling of that second goal going in, and obviously you're there and you're kind of involved in the crowd, but it's pandemonium. It's fucking, mental. And you even had it with Bowes. Bowes have become late goal specialist. Whoa! Oh my god!
I was hacked.
What the fuck, man?
I was hacked. That's all. I don't know why.
Believe it. Whoa!
I was hacked.
Sorry, rewind. Even with Bowes' last 2 games, they've become late kind of They become like late specialists. Like they've scored a lot of late goals recently, and I think we wanted to do a pod last week, and I wasn't feeling well. I had a flu, but the 3-2 game against, or was it 3-2? 3-2 against
3-2,
Rose.
2-0 down.
Like, there are things, I know Ian wasn't at it, and I'd say he's fuming he wasn't at it, but they're like moments in time. They're like, fuck. Like, if you feel that, and then Friday against Pats, they had the same, and they won 2-1. And like that again, man, you're kind of, fuck me, you're like in there. And I know how Ian was feeling. I know how the boys were feeling, the Bowls fans in general. Like a late winner. And generally speaking, we all know what a late winner feels like. Watching it from home or being there. But when you're there, like that goal up in Derry, man, I can vividly like see that in my mind. Like that'll always be something I'll play back. Whereas winning the Premier League and stuff, I think the Premier League is just feels so far away. Feels so far away from us now. Like you're kind of falling out of love with Chelsea, the way the club's been run and stuff. It just feels so far away now. And there is a league here, and it should be used. It should be. It's there for the taking. And I think that was the thing that got me with Liverpool, even during COVID and stuff. And look, a lot of clubs were at it with putting people on gardening leave and fucking joining the Super League and stuff like that. Like they were very quick to kind of go against their own fans. They were very quick to kind of desert their own fans in a way. So that kind of leaves a sour taste in their mouth. And generally speaking, the American ownership isn't great either. So yeah, I suppose Bo's current 3-2 and 2-1.
Yeah, and just on that point you touched on there, falling out of love and American ownership and such. I'm not a big fan of multi-club as well, and I don't think it's good for football. Just generally, like, I see what's happening with Blue Cow and Strasbourg and Chelsea kind of farming their players, which is going to be a formality when they start to farm their players. And they won't be able to keep all the good players. And I can see why a lot of them are against that. But I just think generally multi-club ownership, and we've seen it tried to infiltrate the League of Ireland at some stage with the old owners as well.
Yeah.
I just think it's generally bad for football, just how they go about things that way. But yeah, Bows, it was great, Adam. I was watching it on Easter Monday, the 3-2 game. Rovers. I think
the day the Pope passed away. Rest in peace.
Yeah, he hung on for Easter Monday.
Yeah.
Interesting.
God bless.
Fair play to him, but sorry, I didn't mean it like that. I said fair play to him for hanging on for Easter Monday. He had double pneumonia. But anyway, Colin Whelan to me is a great player.
Yeah, it's been a good coup from Bowes.
I think he makes them 2 goals to win the game late on for Bowes. The turn and the way to pass for the third one for Brennan was excellent. And I think the one the other night was it looked crazy. It looked mad again, and yeah, it's good to see Bowes getting results, but at the same time. It's skin of the teeth stuff, and it's also it's
keeping Reynolds in a job.
Yes, and it's saving his job multiple times.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one because this league be won around this time of year. Usually the team that goes on a run now, so Bowes are 3 unbeaten now. If Bowes could get a good 8 or 9 games out of this, they're in a real fight for this. They're in a real race. They've the most. I think they've the most wins in the league, and the most losses. So it's even itself out. But
they could also.
So the point you're gonna make is they could also go the other way and go really bad. They're not gonna get relegated. That won't happen. But they do look because I've said about Reynolds the whole time. Reynolds isn't a bad manager by any stretch of the imagination, and I've said it before about kind of. Him coming, I think he was with Shels for a while as well under Ian Morris, and he was really good then as well. So, like, it's not like they have a bad manager. They don't. I don't think they have real quality at the back, which will probably will hurt them at some point. But look at Shels a minute. We've no defenders fit, and we're struggling big time with that. So do you want bad defenders or do you want no defenders? You kind of have to weigh up your options. So we play Bows in a couple of weeks. It'll be a very interesting game. But yeah, it's a very interesting league at the minute. It's so tight from 1st to 7th. There is 3 points, which is like Derry could they be top? No, not really.
They're shit.
But they're not that great either. But it's so tight. It's really fascinating, I have to say. And for someone who's been following the league for a long time, I think you'd be doing well to surpass how Shels won the league last year. But you could definitely get a better title race. You could definitely get a more kind of refined title race, I suppose. Like Derry last year were Shels' closest competitor. And they finished 4th in a 2-horse race.
Well, I think compared to previous years as well, there wasn't a title race in the league, Warren. It's just good to see a title race.
This is it.
And Rovers cantering the league every year. Is another problem.
I do believe it's as strong as it's been. And it's the likes of Duff, it's the likes of Bradley, Stephen Kenny have kind of, brought the league to what it is. So, yeah, long may it last, I suppose. Champions League semis, Kieran?
Yeah.
Is that all, just before we get on to it, all you're enjoying in football now is the Champions League, isn't it?
At the moment, yeah.
Yeah.
The Champions League, if you're talking about mainstream football, I actually am enjoying this stuff as well. The League of Ireland. But if you're talking about the international stage, I think the Champions League is bread and butter for me.
Yeah.
Just at the moment, just in terms of quality. Because you don't see the Premier League touching any of the quality you see in the Champions League, in my opinion. I think that's a fair assessment.
Who do you think's winning?
I think it's very tight. I think, for me, I am actually favouring Arsenal at the moment, and that's painful to say. And I'm not putting the what was it, the jinxies on Arsenal? Not trying to put the jinxies on Arsenal, but I think they're the hardest team to beat.
Yeah.
Out of every four. Every four.
All the four.
All four. I think Inter and them, the two hardest teams to beat.
Yeah.
That's my final currently. What do you think?
I would like Arsenal to not win it.
And are you enjoying the Champions League, by the way?
I love it, yeah. I've loved it this year. And even
since the knockouts, I've loved.
I love the whole lot of it. And again, like Liverpool had games against Madrid and Leverkusen, and we beat Leverkusen 4-0 at Anfield. Beat Madrid 2-0. Like, we beat these really good sides at a canter. Not bad for a bad team.
I said that.
But I always enjoy Champions League. I think that's the pinnacle of the sport. I think Champions League and the World Cup is the best about the whole fucking thing, to be honest.
No need for that fucking Adam. Anyway,
I think Arsenal and Barcelona would be the final.
You don't think Inter, no?
No, I think we're going to get a repeat of 2006.
Okay.
I think somehow UEFA will
try.
Yeah, manoeuvre it to be like that. They usually do.
That's down the conspiracy.
Well, they've been known to do worse. So, no, I think PSG are probably the best team left. If I had to pick, I'd say PSG are the best team left. But I think Arsenal are defensively so strong. And like, for what we say about Saka and even Martinelli, Saka specifically, very, very good. And I know he's quick. I know people are quick to, jump on his back and be like, oh, look, he's limping or whatever. Saka's a fucking great player, man. Martinelli,
who are these people?
A lot of people. Martinelli, it's Dave, basically. Martinelli is a fabulous player. I think Odegaard. I think Marino. I hate to say it, Thomas Partey's been really good this year. With Declan Rice, like they've really good players.
In my opinion, the two Arsenal players that are world class. If we're talking about world class players,
I know who you're gonna say.
Saka and Rice.
I thought you were gonna say Saliba. Saliba and Gabriel, I think, are world class as well.
Well, actually, they're if we're looking at that end of the pitch, but I think Rice is the difference maker. I think Saka's the difference maker.
Maybe. But yeah, I think Arsenal and Barcelona, I think, will get there. But I think PSG are actively the best team to watch. Like I would pay to watch PSG. as opposed to the other three. Yeah, Barcelona. I was looking at the Copa del Rey on Saturday, and Barcelona like I don't think Madrid are any great shakes, but Barcelona played really, really well. So I think with Rafinha, how he is, Lamine Yamal, Lewandowski, again, a great side. Like, you know, it's
They have a vulnerability with the high line, though, don't they?
they
In the
do, but I
Champions
think
League.
that's been rectified. I don't think that's as much of a thing as what it was.
I actually fancy them least to get to the final.
I think going forward, man, they're too much going forward. And I know Inter have a really good defence. I know that's going to be your point, but
Just very quickly, if we can touch on it for a second. What do you think of Real Madrid's quarter-final performance against Arsenal?
I would say cowardly.
Cowardly.
Yeah.
Do you think this is the downfall of this Real Madrid team?
No.
In general?
No.
Do you
I think Ancelotti's going, isn't he? And they'll get in Alonso, or Jurgen Klopp was kind of rumoured as well.
But just generally, they're very timid. So, like in midfield was, I think they lost. They're missing Kroos.
I think they're lacking leaders. I think that would be a big thing.
Modric is 40.
Modric is on. I think it's Modric's last season, isn't it?
Yeah, Carvajal's getting on.
It's a good thing they're bringing in a fucking right back then, isn't it?
Who are they bringing in? Oh, Trent.
Yeah.
Well, he's not that good. Who else? Tchouaméni, I think is a good player. Camavinga, I think has his flaws. Valverde, I really like.
Valverde is amazing.
But I think they're really toothless in the area of striker. I think Mbappe doesn't cut it for me. Why is that a bad thing to say? I think he's just not that good a striker.
I think Mbappe is one of the best players in the world, man.
No, he's not.
Look, I don't.
Do you think he's good enough to lead the line?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
On his own?
yeah.
No.
I think his issue is he's too used to pulling out wide. So I think
he's rubbish, man.
he's definitely not rubbish. That's
Vinicius is probably better than.
yeah, maybe not.
Well, he's
You're
won more
really
Champions
really
Leagues.
coming out with the statements now, aren't you?
Well, why?
Mbappe's won a World Cup and a Euros, hasn't he? You're saying it's like Mbappe's a bad player, Kieran. Has he won the Euros? I don't think he has he? No, he
I think
hasn't.
he has on the Euros. Yeah.
I don't know if he has.
I think they won it in 2016.
Portugal did,
Did they? Oh, never mind.
beating France in the final. No, Mbappe is a great player, Kieran. You can't. Again, you're mad to say
But I
that.
don't think he's good enough to lead the line.
Ah, he is. Yeah.
As a striker, I don't think he's good enough.
Who fills that void?
It's not Mbappe.
You think they need like a Benzema kind of player?
Well, just look at what Benzema did for those 3 or 4 years. Madrid won the Champions League, and the connection that Benzema had with Rodrigo and Vinicius.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think you can buy that with Mbappe. I think Mbappe is a poison on the dressing room. None of those PSG sides got close. The minute he leaves, they're in a semi-final of the Champions
Well,
League.
he got them to the final, didn't he, in 2020?
It's COVID. It's kind of. I think Tuchel has a lot to do with that as well, just for what it's worth. And they had Neymar, but yeah, I generally think he's a poison.
Yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of egos in that dressing room, and mainly coming from Mbappe and Vinicius. So I would imagine if you could get them to play together, and they have done it this year in games where they've played together, they'd be all right. But it's all about getting to play, isn't it? It's not as easy as it seems, you know. I don't think it's a downfall. I think they'll get Alonso. They'll get probably Florian Wirtz. They'll get Trent.
Klopp is rumoured.
Yeah.
How would you feel about that?
Not a whole lot you can do, is there?
But would you feel hurt by that?
No. It takes a lot to hurt me, man. Football's complete. Like, fucking Shels Liverpool win the league in the 1 year. Like, does it get better than that for me? Does it? Probably not. So it'll be very hard. And I also don't get like vilifying people. Like, if I was offered a lot of money from another company, I would go to said company. You know what I mean?
You're saying you're a sellout, Adam.
Most people are, unfortunately, in the world we're in.
It's a sad world, isn't it?
It is. But it's run by it's run by money. Like it's
It's run by animals.
It is.
I was going to say, well, very quickly as well. I don't know if this is in get out. Just on the subject of Ancelotti, moving on to Brazil national team. What's your opinion on that?
I think it's a bit of a mad one, isn't it?
I think
it probably suits Ancelotti, I'd say.
They've been crying out the Brazil national team for a good coach.
See, he'll have the same problem there as he does in Madrid with the egos and stuff. Like Vinicius,
he might manage it well though.
Yeah, he's not managing this one well.
Well, he managed it well for 5 years.
Well, like there was a point with Bellingham in the Arsenal game, and I think Rice kind of skins him.
He's another player though.
And Bellingham, he just throws his hands to the air, and you're like, you fucking lazy bastard, get after him, you know. But look at. Ancelotti's a great manager, Kieran. He's arguably the best manager of all time. Arguably, there's an argument to be made there. So he will go to Brazil, and the issue with national teams, generally speaking, on the higher end of things, is they're judged on winning World Cups. So if he wins a World Cup, he's a success. Excuse me. If he wins a World Cup, he's a success. And if he doesn't, he's not. So that's what it comes down to. Yeah, you obviously think it's a good move, do you?
I think it's a good appointment. I generally think the last few Brazil managers, like I just remember the Qatar World Cup. They had some great players, and the managers pigeon dancing with Richarlison on the touchline. I think you need a serious character.
Yeah, you need a certain mentality, but
yeah,
that's also the Samba mentality. Though. No, that's the way they.
Adam, you can't take anyone seriously that's pigeon dancing with the footballers.
That's how they do over there, man.
No,
you know,
I'd agree. Like, I'd agree with the cultural thing if it was relevant to society or culture in general. But when it comes to
what does it even mean?
Well, oh shit, sorry. When it comes to football, football is a culture in itself.
Yeah.
So you can't excuse samba dancing on a bloody football pitch on the touchline.
I think you can.
Would you have done it?
I mean, if I was Brazilian and managed the World Cup, probably. But it's irrelevant because I'm neither. You know what I mean? We move on to get out.
Yeah, go on.
I don't know where that point was going. Like, Ian says, if Adzi could put together a League of Ireland manager 5-side, what would it be? Oh, good. Duff would obviously be in there. I would say Kevin Doherty was a good defender for Shels. Bradley would be in there. I think Bradley was a player. I don't like Kenny. Fuck Stephen Kenny. I'd probably have Johnny Russell because he seems like the most athletic of the managers currently operating. Doherty, Duff, Russell, Bradley, and I'll go Tim Clancy. He's a bit of a heavy lad, but he can jump and go. And I also think he's a player.
League of Ireland manager 5-side.
Kieran Kilduff, actually. Fucking great player. He was with Shels and Lock. Him, Duff, Russell, Bradley, and Bradley. Am I on what's going on in my brain here?
Caulfield, is it?
No. I'm having a what's going on? Him, Duff, Bradley, Caulfield.
What is going on?
This is like brain rot, man, but like real life brain rot.
This whole podcast was brain rot.
No, it's not great. Doherty, that's the one. Kev Doherty, Russell, Kilduff, Duff, and I actually have to forget it again. Bradley, there you go. This can get edited out, please.
No.
I feel like I'm losing my mind here.
Where is my
Pixies,
mind?
yeah, fucking hell. Colonel says, could 100 men beat a gorilla? One of the men is 2009 Randy Orton.
100 men against one gorilla?
I think it depends who the 100 men are.
If they're like 100, what's your man's name? Liver King?
Why would he be a gorilla, sorry?
beat a gorilla?
How would
Well,
100 of him-
100 of them, like 100 of big,
like they just ransack him,
or like 100 Brock Lesnar's or something.
Well, I was going to say Brock Lesnar has to be one of them.
Or 100 Mark Henrys or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, of course they're beating a gorilla. One singular
think?
gorilla. Yeah, 100%.
How do you surmise that?
They'll pin them down.
I don't think.
Or do you ever see the...
I think you're underestimating how strong a gorilla is here, to be honest.
But do you ever see... the ruck in rugby?
Yeah.
Where they push each other? I reckon they could do that.
Suppose 100 men are running consecutively at a gorilla. Does he not just like palm them away?
Well, he can't palm them all at once, can he?
Well, he can do it.
He doesn't have eight hands.
Everybody's fucking big, strong hands.
Big, strong hands can't palm 100 people away.
I think 100 Brock Lesnar's beats a gorilla, but that's very...
How about 50 Brock Lesnar's and 50 Mark Henrys?
No, man. There's only one Brock Lesnar and one Mark Henry. Has to be specific. Let's name 100 men that could beat this gorilla.
Do you want to be here for the next 9 hours?
Gary says, Bill Bow or bust. Bust meaning I will kill myself. Whoa. Fucking
that's
hell,
a bit
man.
much,
Jesus.
isn't it?
I think this is down to... Yeah, it's fucking grim, Gary.
Yeah, what the fuck?
They're playing Bilbao in the Europa semi-final. Do you think they go through, United?
Well, I hope they do now. I don't wish
I
death
hope they do as well,
on Gary, just on the basis of football.
Sennan also asked 100 men versus a bear. It's all over Twitter. It's very good. Honestly, do you think United can beat Bilbao? I think.
I thought you were going to say, do you think 100 men could beat a bear? If United could beat Bilbao, I think they can easily.
I think they will, yeah.
Now, whether they will or not, I don't know.
Gary says, Bellingham constantly acting like a spoiled brat. Yeah, he is. To be fair, he's...
What did he do?
I think his general demeanour on the pitch. And I think he was kind of... Well, he wasn't putting any effort in for Pedri's goal. I don't know if you've seen Pedri's goal. But he's really poor for that. Jamie says, who out of the League of Ireland shows most promise to make it to England? From Brona X. Oh, thanks, Brona. Who do you think, Carl?
Out of all the League of Ireland players at the moment, I like the look of your man Moses Dyer. I know he's probably... What
level are you talking about in England?
Well, what level are you talking about?
I'd imagine a decent level. There's your man Victor Ozzy and Vuna is seemingly going to Arsenal.
Well, if we're talking about young people, Mason Media,
yeah, this is very true.
That's an easy one, though, isn't it?
I would probably...
Akabankwa. What's his... James Abankwa?
No, he's gone, man. It's Victor, Ozzy and Vuna. Great name. I think, just from a Shels point of view, because obviously I watch a lot of Shels, I think Evan Caffrey is... I don't know how he's not been picked up yet. He's a really, really good player. From a Bowes end, to be fair, I would have said Connor Parsons, but he seems...
Colin Whelan.
No, I wouldn't say so. I wouldn't say so. Brendan started the other night, did he? Fucking hell, fair play to him. Yeah, for Bowles, I think I would always say Tierney, but obviously he was over and he came back, so it's a bit of a tough one to judge. Definitely not the Moose. I would say Ozzy and Vuna or Evan Caffrey.
Hold on, definitely not the Moose. The Moose been there, done that.
Has he though? Has he really done it?
He scored a goal for Sheffield in the Premier League.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, I'd say Ozzy and Vuna or Caffrey would be the two. Thanks for the question, Brownie. Very good. You say Reynolds is a genius. Do you think he's a genius?
Was that me?
That was you.
I think, well, he's not. He's definitely not a genius, but he's up there with Einstein.
Okay. I don't know how to reply to that.
Would you say he's a genius?
I think Alan Reynolds is a very good football manager, yeah. I wouldn't say he's a genius. You see, I think the thing with Bowes is there has to be expectations wavered. Like they're with the money they've spent. Like I believe the Moose is on quite good money. Like they probably should be challenging for a league title, but do they have the quality players to do it? Probably not. They definitely can do it the way the league has been this year and in general.
But just taking
going a run, but do I think Reynolds is a genius? No.
But just taking it in isolation with the last two games, 2 90-minute winners.
Yeah.
Would you not call that a stroke of genius, the substitutions? But just taking it in isolation. You don't take anything else.
I would say no.
But if you were to take away the negatives,
I think
away the goals
you're
that
talking about
scored
substitutions here, Kieran, right? The 2 players who scored for both started the games. Actually, sorry, Cornwall came on the 19th minute. James Clark got the assist, and I think people want Clark to start. The one against Rovers, I honestly I looked at the game because I was at home. I couldn't go to the Shels game normally. I don't know how they won that. Like it was like they fully deserved it for all it's worth. They were the better team the whole game. But when they went 2-0 down,
so you're saying they're a bad team?
No, when they went 2-0 down, you're like, how are they getting back here? Because you just felt like when Rovers got 2-0, it was like game over. So I wouldn't say stroke of genius. Maybe it was.
But
Whelan comes on, Brennan comes on. I'm not criticising him.
But you're criticising me for being harsh on Liverpool, and then you won't give Bose credit for being good.
Bose literally have done really well in the last few games, Kieran. But before that, they were looking for Reynolds to be sacked. So you have to. I know you're not a proper Bose fan, but you have to kind of give and take here, because there was a point in time where they wanted him out. So I don't know. I would fancy Bose to. I'm pretty sure I said at the start of the season that they had a decent squad. I'm pretty sure I've said this before. Like, they should be doing better than what they are. Now, they're doing very well at the minute, which is fair enough. But will they win it? Probably not. But if they were to be in the top 4 at the end of the season, I think that's a good season for them. Would be my kind of overall point, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, so Reynolds is a genius then, is what you're saying.
Come here, I'm a big fan of Alan Reynolds. I've always said it. I think he should get a lifetime contract, to be honest. Ron says, if you had to make a cocktail after a Prem player, what would it be and why? What do you think? You're not very good at thinking on the spot, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
You struggle a bit that sometimes. I would say Virgil van Dijk as a sex on the beach, because he is a tall, handsome centre half.
See, that's so easy for you. I can't go for it.
Fair. Can I come another one?
Enzo Maresca, pina colada, because his head is bald. And it's very pale as well.
His head is bald and he's pale. Roland says, are Liverpool the worst Premier League champions, Kieran? According to you, is yes.
Well, according to the statistics there as well.
Womp womp. We had this argument already. We're not having it again.
Yeah, we could have saved it for the end of the show.
Mark Sweeney says, might be biased, but I reckon 2 of the 3 teams promoted next year will stay up. Mark is, of course, a Leeds fan.
Leeds and Coventry.
Leeds are falling apart. Do you think Coventry go up?
Frankie Lamps is going to get Coventry.
I wouldn't mind Blackburn getting a playoff position. Who would have played the last day? Playing Sheffield United away. Oh, Sheffield United. I think... See, it's always hard when a team finishes third in that division, because they've obviously been in a title race, and then it's like the season starts again in the middle of, not in the middle of the season, but at the end of the season, it's like you have to fucking go for 3 more games. And I think a lot of them struggle at that point.
I'd like to see Alan Brown get into the Premier League, so I'd like Sunderland to get.
I would say, is Alan Brown knocking around those parts, is he?
He scored against Melier that time, didn't he?
Was that Alan Brown? It was Alan Brown, I think. Yeah, you're right. Fucking hell, man. I like Bristol City being there. I like seeing teams who have them in there go up. Like, Naki Wells playing for fucking... playing for Bristol City and Bermuda. Player like him...
He's been around the years.
I know, he's 34. Player like him, give him a run in the Premier League. I think Leeds will stay up next year if they invest. Like, you're looking at their team now. Manor Solomon, Joel Perro, Willie Nonto. They are not Premier League players for me. Carl Darlow and goal.
Willie Nonto's these.
They're winning 1-0 at the minute, actually, against Bristol City. Tanaka. Yeah, I think they'll all go back down. On further assessment,
I think Leeds will stay up.
They need a lot. invest a lot more.
I think if Sheffield go up, they'll stay up.
No, man.
Wilder. Yeah. Been down that road before. We finished 7th.
I walk a lonely road
He finished
on
7th.
the boulevard of broken dreams. Yeah, no, I think the way it's structured now, I think they'll all go down. I think, funny enough, you'll have probably Wrexham coming up and Birmingham coming up from the Championship next year.
You said you didn't like that, Adam, the bankroll in the league.
I don't like it. I don't. But I'm just saying, I think they'll both go up.
Are they both bankrupt?
Yeah, they both have, well, obviously, Wrexham have the...
Tom Brady.
Wrexham have your man, what's his name? Deadpool.
Oh.
And Ryan Reynolds and... What's your man's name?
Rob McElhenney.
Rob McElhenney. And then...
I kind of like those two, though, at the same time.
Yeah, you would.
Well, they seem sound.
And then Birmingham have Tom Brady, which is very interesting. I would say they'll be the teams to break that duct. I think the 3 teams going up this year will go straight back down. And then Birmingham and Wrexham will go up and they will stay in the Premier League. It's what the Premier League want them in the Premier League. Do you know what I mean? Because they're backed by Americans and the whole Wrexham story, you know, promoted back to back. Like James McLean's the captain there. If Wrexham get to the Premier League, he's the first one out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, interesting. I would disagree with Mark though. I think they'll all go back down. Am I negative this week? I think I am a bit negative. I'm tired.
I don't know, Adam. Like, I feel like you've made a few good points, but at the same time, I think you have been negative.
I think I'm tired, Kieran. Dave Dunwoody says Warzone loadout and which is the best duos, trio or quads? You don't play Warzone to me, Call of Duty.
No, I haven't. I've played it once, maybe like 5 years ago. But
Yeah, in terms of loadouts, not a clue, Woody. I do like myself, yourself, and Jamie as a quad. Kilo as well, you can't leave Kilo, and Senden as well. Senden jumped in a few times. I don't have any favourites, man. If I had to pick, I'd say a trio of me, you and Dave, just because we
you
have.
wouldn't pick
good
me
fun.
in the quad.
No, you don't fucking play, man. Fuck you.
Fair enough.
Amy Rooney says predictions for Champions League, Europa League, and Conference. We'll quick fire these.
Oh, that's actually, that's a good question.
quick
because
fire these.
I feel like it can't be a scenario where all English teams win every trophy.
Arsenal PSG, Kieran. 3-2-1 Arsenal.
PSG.
Wednesday you have Barcelona Inter. 3-2-1. I think Barcelona.
Inter.
At home, I think Barcelona do it. Thursday we have.
Oh, are we predicting the ties in general, or just the?
Oh well, we can just predict the ties. I think Arsenal and Barcelona are going to.
I picked the same teams in the ties. Yeah, okay. Inter, PSG.
Europa League semi-final: Athletic Bilbao, Man United. I think Bilbao will go through.
Gonna go Man United.
Tottenham, Bodo Glimt.
I'm gonna go.
Bodo Glimt, I think.
I'm gonna go Bodo Glimt as well. I think it'll be a great story because they play a winter season, don't they?
Do they?
I think they play a winter season.
They do play.
So
it's a good pot. It shows us maybe. Do they? Yeah, they play summer football. Yeah.
There's a chance for League of Ireland to.
I was about to say, yeah. It kind of shows a path. How the fuck you say that name?
I'm fairly sure.
Is that Dudelange?
Dewgarden.
Who would
Did an Irish team beat them in a qualifier?
I feel like
I think
they haven't been before. Maybe it was a Rovers. It could have been Rovers. Maybe not this year. Chelsea or Dewgarden, Kieran? Sorry, Chelsea or Dewgarden?
I'm gonna go Chelsea for that one. I think it would be an embarrassment if Dewgarden win.
Where are Dewgarden from?
Sweden, I think. I think it's another winter team.
Sweden, indeed.
It's two teams
Real
from Sweden.
Betis or Fiorentina? I think Fiorentina, man.
I think Betis.
Who've Betis played to get to this point? Vasco da Gama or Victoria Guimaraes. Some Polish team. Jeez, man, that's really the pits, isn't it? Chelsea have actually had the hardest run as well. That's fucking gas. Yeah, I would go with Fiorentina and Chelsea. Amy says, is Trent Alexander-Arnold staying?
No, he's leaving. He's gone to Real Madrid.
Yeah, I'm really... My heart says he stays, but my head, with, you know,
I don't think there'll be any
coherent
loss
thoughts.
for Liverpool if he goes.
I think again it's.
Bradley's better probably.
I think he's going, Amy. Unfortunately, but there is a good deputy in Conor Bradley. To be fair. Last question. Shout out to Ben Casey and his sister as always. Ben says thoughts on WrestleMania 41. Kieran, it was, I want to say, free on Netflix. Obviously not free.
People are saying it's the worst one ever.
Yeah, it wasn't. I wouldn't say it was a bad one.
I didn't see a minute of it this year.
Yeah,
you have to tell me about it.
Like, I mean, it definitely wasn't bad, would be what I'd say. It was something.
Something in the way.
I was sick all weekend, so I watched it and I quite enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. So, yeah, like, the first night was really long. Like, they're 2 long shows. They're about like 3.5 hours long. But if it's good quality, they kind of goes quickly, essentially. The main event of the first night was one of the best main events in WrestleMania history.
Which was?
CM Punk, Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, with the big story being Paul Heyman turning on Roman and CM Punk. So it was quite fucking like, as I said, I was sick, so I was watching this without being spoiled, and I felt like I was 9 again. I was like, what the fuck? And then night 2 was better, just more quality on the card, so it was generally speaking better. Another triple threat between 3 women, Io, Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair was really good.
I'd say you enjoyed that.
But come here, judging by what you had on your phone, we know what you enjoy.
Well, that was hacked.
But really
You've
good.
seen Unexplainable Terror.
The second night was much better, and I would check it out for anyone who's curious. I would look at it. Look at the first match of night 2, will you?
Okay.
It was good. You'll enjoy it more than what you were watching there.
I was hacked.
And we'll leave it there. So that's this week's podcast, Kieran.
I have one more question for you.
Okay.
Which wasn't asked.
Shit.
If who do you think is going to be signed in the summer this year?
Like incoming?
Yeah.
I think it's a big summer for Man City. I think it's big summer for Liverpool. Like I said it a couple of weeks ago. Like, enjoy this for what it's worth, because I do think the next few years could be, I don't want to say hard, but it could be tough. You know, I don't think it's gonna be easy by any stretch of imagination. I do think it'll be a task. You know, and I feel like for Liverpool next season to move on, they are going to have to invest. So it will be big summer for them. I think, oddly enough, Chelsea, big summer. Because they have all these players that they've spent big amounts of money on. Do they need a new manager? Yeah, you know, who's going to be the signing this summer? I have no idea.
I've seen Cunha to United, rumours say.
That's going to be typical United. I don't think that'll do them any justice.
Cunha's quite good though.
He is, but is he what Man United need, Kieran? I would say no.
No.
I think United need a striker. They need a few defenders.
Yeah, for Amorim system. But yeah,
I think whoever gets Victor Gyökeres is going to get the best signing all summer, if he's to leave Lisbon.
Do you think Aussie men would move?
Is Aussie men the same level as Gyökeres, do you think?
Goals wise, I think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I always find it interesting when a player goes down a league. Like for him to go to Turkey, Galatasaray from Napoli is a very peculiar one. I think if Alvarez was on the move during summer, which has been rumoured as well, I've seen that. Like, you know, like Nunes has gone to Atletico as well, but looks like I don't think he'll be the signing this summer. For Forest, yeah. Okay, that's a story for another day. But
yeah,
I think whoever gets Victor Gyökeres.
The World Cup is another factor as well.
The Club World Cup, yeah. So bad.
Are we covering that one?
I wouldn't be against it. I wouldn't be against it, to be fair. We could. If you really want to, we could. Because League of Ireland still be on as well, so it kind of goes through. And Ireland versus Senegal. Yeah.
Let's go, guys.
And we'll leave it there. So, thank you for joining us this week as Liverpool win a league. The Bows are back. The Champions League is most definitely back.
I think the Champions League, I'm most excited for that this week. I can't wait for it.
Samana, waka waka, pissing money down the drain. Do you know the song?
I know, Bows are back again.
And we live there, so adios.
Gurmila Muggets. And subscribe to this YouTube and TikTok.
Subscribe to YouTube, TikTok, follow us on Instagram. Yeah.